You are part of the ravenous horde. What do you want? Brains. When do you want them? Brains. You are a zombie. Alright, you scum, suit up! If you have not already watched the Units, Roles, and Loadouts primer and the general advice video, please pause this video and go watch them now. I will be building on some of those concepts. Also, I'm aware the audio in this video might not be as good as the other ones. The microphone jack on my phone decided to die, and so I'm just going to have to resort to shouting! Bah! Now obviously you cannot have humans versus zombies without zombies. Zombies are an integral part of this game. Without sufficient zombies to keep the game challenging, it would get really boring. And I have played in some boring HVZs because the zombies were either just not organized or they just weren't enough of them. Now in the week-long or week-and-a-half-long games that are played on college campuses, they generally start with one or two original zombies who are often unmarked or disguised on day one, and that builds the original zombie pool, and then the zombie numbers grow over the course of the game. There are usually night missions every so often to draw out all of the players and to get more humans tagged. That is kind of the goal of those missions, so that the horde grows and the game continues to be challenging. Now in the single day games that the auxiliary are going to be in force at, so End War, West vs. Zombies, Ragnar Oktoberfest, the PSU Invitational, and whatever other games I end up going to, they don't have the luxury of a week-long or week-and-a-half-long build-up. They need to get that started as quickly as possible. And they either do that by just calling for volunteers. Who wants to start as a zombie? We need at least this many. And if they don't get those numbers, then they institute what is called Troll Squad, which are humans who are tasked with playing zombies in Mission 1, but then go back to playing humans after that in order to get the zombie numbers up. So any humans that they tag in Mission 1 remain zombies, and the Troll Squad gets to go back to being humans, and that creates the original zombie pool, and then the game progresses. Problem with Troll Squad is that it's a logistic mess to a degree. Having to figure out, are we calling for volunteers? If we don't get enough volunteers, do we have to just pick people at random? They then have to take off their gear, play as zombies, come back, put their gear back on. It's a bit of a mess, or can be. And it takes time, and that's just unnecessary. So the auxiliary will be implementing something that I will be referring to as Grendel Company. Those of you who get that reference, well done. Those who don't, read a book. Grendel was the troll in the Beowulf saga. So this will be our equivalent of Troll Squad, where we will call for volunteers to start as zombies. We'll contact the mods of the game and go, how many zombies do you need? And we will call for that many volunteers. And if we get enough, fabulous. If we don't, well, we'll give them what we do have. But once we've reached that number, then we'll go, okay, Grendel Company's full, everyone else you get to play humans. And then we'll go to the mods and go, here's Grendel Company, these are the zombies that we have brought for you to use as your original pool. And the advantage of Grendel Company is that you will have the opportunity to organize the exact same way the auxiliary is, the human auxiliary is. So be able to create squads, have specific roles, have battle plans, have comms, all of that because you will know who the starting zombies are early and will be able to organize. And because the auxiliary is becoming organized, the zombies need to step up their game or it's going to be boring, or else the mods are going to have to crank up the difficulty on the game. And that may make it less fun for the people who aren't in the auxiliary. So if we can instead simply provide them with better zombies and enough zombies, we can alleviate a lot of that issue that might get created. So Grendel Company will be formed the 2 months before events when we create the temporary server for organizing the events. And if you're interested in playing a zombie, by all means, join Grendel Company. Now, it's not something that you're now permanently in and you never get to play a human again. No, it's for this particular event, you're volunteering to start as a zombie. The next event, you might decide to play as a human. Like everything in the auxiliary, it's voluntary and up to you whether you want to participate or not. But that will give the zombies the ability to have an organized core, which will help them combat the organization that the auxiliary will hopefully be bringing to these games. We'll see how it all works out. Also similar to the human organization, there will be roles for the various zombies. There can be squads within Grendel Company for the various zombies, and there isn't exactly a loadout, but there is kind of a standard, here's what I recommend zombies have, so let's take a look at that. Now, in addition to all of the things that I recommend in the general advice video, water, electrolytes, stuff like that, I am going to recommend knee pads! Yes, pads, I'm only wearing the one because I have no idea where the right one went. I probably lent it to a crew member who only needed the right one, and he never gave it back. Or it's still in the bin somewhere. Anyway, I do recommend knee pads for zombies that are going to do the playstyle that really involve them, which is going to be kind of mostly the infantry zombies, which is, I recommended knee pads for the infantry humans. Because you're going to be doing a lot of running, you're going to be doing a lot of sprinting, there's the risk of tripping and knees across the asphalt. There's also that sliding is a very functional and powerful thing for zombies to do. When you go sprinting straight at a human and they line up, they're gonna tend to be aiming a little higher than they should because that's just their instinct because they're shouldered. And if you slide under them, they won't always be able to track you fast enough before you can get to them. So sliding is very functional, and for you humans, center of body mass. I'm a little bit low. Anyway, the other thing that I recommended for everybody, and I'm recommending it for zombies too, a dump pouch. This is for helping with cleanup. Some games don't allow zombies to pick up darts when they're tagged. Others highly encourage it. And generally the one-day events are going to encourage it because it means less cleanup at the end. So if you're a zombie and you're tagged and you've got a 5-minute timer or a 3-minute timer or whatever, spend the first minute and pick up darts. For two reasons. One, ease of cleanup, because it means that the staff don't have to pick up as many darts at the end of the game. But two, and this is the more tactical reason, it means the humans can't pick up the darts. And ammo attrition is a very real and very powerful tactical thing that zombies can do. Humans cannot carry an infinite amount of ammunition, whereas the zombies have a near infinite number of lives. So if you can soak up as much ammo and then remove that ammo from play, the humans will eventually run out. Again, some games don't allow that. I don't believe Ragnarok Oktoberfest allows zombies to pick up ammo, but that's because ammo is an in-game commodity. They provide the ammo, and the ammo that's in is the only ammo that is there. So zombies aren't supposed to pick up ammo because all the ammo goes to them at the end anyway. It's generally a smaller site. Whereas the ones that are on a huge college campus, they generally encourage zombies to pick up the darts as they go so that there isn't just an enormous mess at the end. So, possible reason. There are also occasionally MacGuffins for the zombies. Things that the zombies are supposed to collect, brains or something. I've seen that at events. So, having a pouch for that, useful. Obviously, your battle belt is good for, having a water bottle or something, hydration pack, whatever. And as with the regular advice, dress for the weather. Zombies generally dress a little lighter because you are going to be running and you might get a little bit warm. But, kind of depends. Be smart about it. Alright, let's talk about those zombie roles. Now, for your standard zombie, where if you get tagged with a dart, you're stunned, and if you tag a human, they turn into a zombie, your run-of-the-mill zombie, there aren't all that many different roles. There are then super zombies, which are a whole different ball of wax and kind of fall into a role all in of themselves and can be used in roles that the humans have specific roles for. But for generic roles, you've got just the zombie foot soldier, the infantry, the one that are just the horde that just charges towards the humans and tries to break free and tag them and soak up darts and all of that. They're generally, they don't need to be the fastest, they don't need to be the smartest, they don't need to be, the wiliest. There just needs to be a lot of them. And there's nothing wrong with just, alright, I'm a zombie, I will charge at the humans. That's fine. We need that as much as we need everything else. But the zombies also need things like recon, because there are going to be a lot of wily human squads out there that need to be hunted down. Now, either you need to find where the command column is, and just so that the zombies, if they decide they just want to relentlessly attack the main column and try to pick people off, fabulous. But you also might try hunting down the human recon, the human mission squads, those human hunter squads, and focus the horde on them because the command columns, the big columns, are going to be too heavily armed to be able to assault with anything but an overwhelming horde or a lot of super zombies. And if you don't have either of those, at the numbers or the supers, to be able to properly assault the main column, you're better off focusing a larger number of zombies on smaller human squads because you might be able to actually overwhelm and and wipe them out. You can draw them into ambushes or just chase them down. You might be able to either catch them, pin them, what have you, or just keep them scattered so they can't do whatever their mission was. If you can keep them from completing the human objective, that's valuable. So recon, keeping the zombies informed of where the humans are, what their numbers are, what path they're probably going to take, stuff like that. Recon is valuable. Another very important one are leaders. The zombies need to be organized, because if it's just a random bunch of zombies charging at the humans willy-nilly, you're really never going to break through. That's kind of what we were getting hit with at End War 2019, just the zombies kept attacking the rear guard that was covered by crew and auxiliary. They were never going to break through, just doing the same thing over and over again. Yes, they were wearing us down on ammo, but not nearly fast enough to make a difference. They needed to be more coordinated. They needed to be setting ambushes for the front of the column. They needed to be setting ambushes for the center of the column, which is often the weakest. And for that, you really need a leader who sees that, has that tactical mindset and who can give orders. Most people are very good at following orders if you give them the right orders, but they won't think of them on their own, or they won't be coordinated enough. So if you want to do things like have the main horde charge, but then have smaller hordes attack after the main human column is distracted, well, that needs to be coordinated. You need to have somebody who's in charge who says, okay, here's the bulk. I need 10 zombies and one, leader. I need another 10. When we hit, then you hit, then you hit. That all needs to be coordinated, and they need leaders to do that. So if you're of that mindset, have experience in leading, or just have a charismatic personality, you can become a leader of the horde. They are definitely going to need those. Another thing that I'm going to put down as a role is the shuffler. And this is for people like me who have bad knees and a bad back and don't sprint well. And that's just the zombies that just shamble towards the humans. Because you'd be amazed how often they overlook the slow-moving zombies. The quick-moving ones catch their eye and they focus on them, but the shuffler that just walks up and just tags them, you'd be amazed how often that works. You're also great for soaking up darts, because as you're slow-moving, once they notice you, 10 people will all shoot at you. Well, while they're shooting at you, they are not hitting the 5 zombies who are stacked behind you, and you then pour out. Stuff like that. There are roles that there's always a zombie role that you can fill. So don't feel bad. Oh, I'm a zombie. I don't make a good zombie. I'm not gonna have fun anymore. I know what kind of a zombie I'm good at. It's not the most effective, but I play it. I play the shuffler or the posh reaver, depending on how I feel at the time. So yeah, let's talk about squads. So there should be zombie squads, just like there are squads of humans, and they're vaguely similar. There should be the primary horde, the big bulk, because numbers are your primary advantage. If you can overwhelm the humans, if you can surround the humans, the fact that you have greater numbers will generally see you through any amount of firepower, eventually, because they will eventually run out of ammo, and you will not eventually run out of zombies. There are always more zombies, especially given that every time a human gets tagged, you gain a zombie. So the ratio switches by 2 with every tag, and that starts adding up real quick, and soon you have overwhelming numbers and they just can't tag you all fast enough. And that's kind of how you win. But you're also going to want to have potentially recon squads, full of the fast-moving zombies that can hunt down the human recon, stuff like that. And hunter units, which, if you have super zombies, there should definitely be supers in your hunter squads, and you're out hunting for smaller units of humans or less organized columns of humans, places where you can use that super to your full advantage. And that's something that you need to think about when we start talking about super zombies is, what is the most advantageous use of this particular super's power? Because I have often seen them poorly utilized. And yeah, you've got this great zombie that if you used it correctly would have decimated us, but you didn't. And so it was almost useless. And that's again where Grendel Company comes in. You can talk about this event. We know there are going to be these supers. What strategies work well with those supers? And you can coordinate that and organize that. So once you have those supers, you can immediately put them into maximum effect. So let's talk about supers. Every game that I have ever played at, other than possibly the original U of I games that I played, had super zombies of one kind or another. WSU, over the 4 years that I played there, probably had 24 different supers. And they were different from game to game at WSU. And then the supers that I played with at other games, I've played games that had completely different than those 24. This game, none of their supers were the same as those. And that's really what keeps Humans vs. Zombies interesting, is that they're always coming up with new supers. And well-used supers give the mods game balance. So if the humans are doing too well and the horde just isn't able to get going, they can throw supers in and it can shift the balance very quickly. They need to be careful about it, because if they throw too many supers too quickly, all the humans get wiped out and the game's over early. So the game balance is very delicate, and I have huge amounts of respect for the mods that are able to keep the game balanced properly. It will usually end up eventually being lopsided one way or the other, and the humans will either end up having a fairly easy victory, or they will get wiped out in the final stand because there's 10 of them left or something. And that's how the game goes. You're never going to be able to balance it perfectly, or usually aren't able to balance it perfectly. Ragnar Oktoberfest did an amazing job of balance. It really came down to the very line of either the humans win this wave or the zombies win, and it could have easily gone either way, and it was just the organization of the auxiliary and the crew that tipped the balance. And that's really, really cool. But super zombies are probably the mod's most commonly used option for balance. And as I said, they're different at every game, and so it's important to pay attention, because they will often announce what supers are going to be in this game ahead of time. So I'll let you know, there are tanks, and this is how tanks work, and there will be boomers, and this is what boomers mean, and there will be spitters, and this is how the spitters work. And the spitters at End War might be slightly different than the spitters at your game from the college that you go to. And tanks might be different. Tanks at WSU, where it took 3 hits to take them down. Tanks at End War were very, very different. You hit them, and they were stunned for 5 seconds, and then focused on whoever hit them. But they could only walk. Completely different mechanics, but they both definitely qualify as kind of a tanky unit. But that would be kind of the equivalent of the human heavies. They are really hard to take down, or they are relentless, and so you kind of use them that way. You either send in a wall of tanks early, and they soak up everything, and then the lighter units charge in behind them, or you have a wave of lighter units charge in, who soak up everything, and then the tanks burst in from behind them, and since they're harder to take out, or they can't be taken out, they can break through and decimate whole columns and whatnot. So using the super zombies is very important, and knowing how the super zombie mechanic works is very important. Sometimes they're just doled out. You know, the mods will say, okay, you get to be a super now because you're you, or I like your shoes, or great socks, whatever. Sometimes it's, you've tagged 5 humans, you're a super now. Once you tag 10 humans, now you're a better super. You've tagged 15 humans, now you're a better super. Other times, supers are unlocked by missions that the zombies have. That's my favorite way of having supers unlocked. I also really like the number of tags, the achievement method of, you tagged 5, now you take 2 hits to tag you. You've gotten 10 hits, well, now you're a shuffler, and you never actually get stunned, you just have to drag your back foot once you're tagged and change humans or whatnot. But I also like it when they have to unlock some sort of extremely powerful super, like a zombie respawn point, where all the zombies have to do is touch this zombie and they're immediately back in. Generally with that one, if the humans manage to tag them, that zombie's stunned for 15 minutes or something, but while they're active, the zombies can just keep respawning off of them. And that's the kind of one that they will often have a mission that the zombies have to achieve to unlock. While the humans are doing their missions, zombies are doing theirs. And humans can work on theirs, but also try to interfere with the zombies. Zombies are trying to work on theirs while interfering with the humans. It makes the game a lot more interesting. But you need to know how that works so that you can focus on that. You might decide, yes, the human advantage, if the humans win, they get this special weapon, but this super zombie is worth focusing entirely on. Or it's kind of a lame super zombie, whereas that super weapon is going to destroy us, so we're going to focus all on that. And that comes down to coordination and organization, and that's why you need leaders. So that's kind of my take on super zombies. Let's take a look at zombie attitude. Far too often, I've seen players who went into HVZ with the philosophy of, once I get tagged, or if I get tagged, I have lost. And that is simply not the case. Getting turned into a zombie does not mean you have lost HVZ, it means you've switched sides. And in all probability, you've joined the winning side early, because in the vast majority of HVZs that I've played in, the zombies eventually win. Either the humans fail in too many missions and aren't able to get the advantages to be able to take it out, they fail in the puzzles and they aren't able to end the apocalypse, or the game was never written to have a human victory condition in the first place. It was always going to come down to a last stand of attrition. Just, now there's, all right, humans go here, and then the zombies just keep going until they're all wiped out. Last human standing gets to go, hurrah. Some games are like that, and that's fine, as long as you know that going in, and you are aware that, that's how you're playing. It is very, very important that when you get tagged, you go play a zombie, because the game doesn't work if every time someone gets tagged, there's like, well, I guess I lost, I'm just going to go home now. That's not good. The game will fall apart, it'll never get challenging, and you're not keeping up your end of the deal, quite frankly. In agreeing to play humans versus zombies, you agreed to play a human until you got tagged, and then you play a zombie. Them's the rules. And you need to follow them, because there were players who played as zombies so that you could play a human up until you got tagged. You really owe it to them to play a zombie now, because they played one for you. You need to play one for the rest of the players that are still humans. And that's just how it works, because if everybody quits, then there's no game. So, even if you don't make a good zombie, like me, I got bad knees, I don't like running, I will just shuffle at the humans and soak up darts. That's fine. You can go be recon if you really don't like getting shot, dozens and dozens of times. Be recon, go on scouting missions, avoid the humans, but gather the intel. There are roles in the zombie faction that you can play that you can enjoy. So figure out your play style as a zombie, really get into it, and really enjoy it. How much you get into the role play of zombies is, again, entirely up to you, and partially up to the rules of the school. Some highly encourage full zombie makeup and shambling about in costumes. Others don't like makeup and all of that because they can't tell who you are, and the same reason they don't allow masks. But have fun with it. I highly encourage, if somebody has a foam brain and goes, "Hey zombie, see the brain? See the brain? Go get the brain!" Chase after the brain. It's fun. It's silly. It's neat. Stuff like that. Enjoy the game. This is a game. It's supposed to be fun. Have fun playing a zombie, because it really is a lot of fun. Some people prefer playing zombies. There are a lot of people at WSU who, day one, round one, 5 minutes into the game, they went looking for the original zombie so they could get turned, so they could just play a zombie, so they didn't have to be stressed out about zombies jumping out of the trees at them and stuff like that. So, have fun with it. Enjoy the game. And I look forward to seeing you on the field of battle. Bangarang!